Here we go. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the tunes. This is from No Copyright Music. Who is this? No Copyright Music. I'm trying to get the name of the page, but my internet's working super slow. Well, the song's called No Copyright Music. Chill lo-fi hip hop, beat free, copyright free lo-fi hip hop, uh, chill hop music mix. Uh, and yeah, just wanted to give them a shout out. They make some great little chill tunes, and I always play free music, no copyright music on here, just because it's the only way I can. So, welcome to my first mukbang. Uh, I did this because, first off, hi, I'm Aaron's big black dude. Uh, they call me that. Well, I call myself that because everyone else calls me that. And I wanted to do this little mukbang. It's the 4th of July. I'm not doing anything. So I thought I'd come here and eat and share my little musings. Hopefully, they're not too controversial, but enjoy. Like and comment. Uh, I'm putting this up because I was gonna eat. I figured, why not just fucking record that shit, right? So we have 3 pounds of T-bone steak and 3 pounds T-bone steak butter. That's what this was. I had to get that. You want to get some fats on there and salt. Always need salt, especially if you're gonna do a carnivore diet. And sparkling water. Uh, Lacroix is my favorite now. I usually like to get the what is it, Perrier? The Perrier in glass bottles. They're nice big glass bottles. They look like 40 ounces and shit, but those are good. But I prefer these better. These actually have a really nice taste to them. They're not sweet. You know, I talked about these before. They're not sweet, but they're good. Um, let's get a taste of some of this goddamn steak. So I seared them. I just learned the reverse sear method. Uh, the reverse sear method this year. I've been doing the carnivore diet for about 6 months, and I've been making. I've been when you eat the carnivore diet, you're only eating one thing, meat. So you have to constantly look up best ways to cook it. The worst thing about in any diet would be hold on, the center. Let me see if I can center that. No, the opposite. I guess that's centered enough. One of the worst things about any diet would be to not enjoy the food that you make. So in a carnivore diet, eating one thing, you get really good at figuring out what you like and what you don't like, what cooking methods you like, what cooking methods you don't like. Um, yeah, and I love fatty, juicy pieces of meat, fatty, juicy pieces of red meat. To be honest with you, I'm going to be specific about it. Um, I usually don't eat 3 pounds of meat in one sitting, but I was attempting a let me right into this. That's actually a pretty nice cut. I was attempting a 5 day fast, which I failed miserably last night because um, when you fast, uh, it doesn't really when you fast it doesn't really help for good sleep, and I've been eating sleep lately, so I decided to eat some eggs last night. And since I had these steaks out, I was like, I might as well just make these now. And here you can take a look at it. Oh, look at that. That's pretty juicy. That's pretty juicy. Dripping on my keyboard. Just dripping on my keyboard. That's fucking gross. Yeah, they're actually a little overcooked. At least this one is. Mm, mm. sorry if you hear me chewing. I got these Bluetooth headphones in just because it's easier to communicate this way. But if you hear chewing, I'm sorry. But, it's again a little overcooked. Um, I learned about the reverse sear method earlier this year just by looking online, and I haven't really perfected it. That's a good piece. Look at the butter just melt. Look at that butter. But the secret to properly reverse searing is having a cooking thermometer. You know, thermometer to check the temperature of the food. Preferably a digital one, and I do not have one of those. Uh, so I just guess. Sometimes it'll be in too long. It's never really in there too short. But I really should start erring on the side of if you're not going to use a thermometer, uh, don't cook it as long. I preferably love the taste of rare meat now. When I was a kid, mm, when I was a kid, I didn't. You know, when I was younger, I didn't know. You know, you just don't know. Mm. Oh, that's good. Now, hold on. This is a mukbang, so enjoy me chewing. I've never really watched a mukbang before. I mean, I get the concept, you know, scouring through, you know, like Pornhub or, you know, any sort of adult website. You always you get the feeders and shit like that. You see those once in a while. So those are mukbangs. Mukbangs are supposedly non-sexual. Fucking whatever. I don't believe that shit. Everything is sexualized in some way, shape, or form. Mm. Even the elation on my face, that's slightly sexual. In a way, not really sexual. Pleasure. That's the secret sauce of mukbangs or you know porn videos where people are just eating food. They're still getting pleasure just in a different way. And people, of course, like human nature, we sexualize everything. At least guys. But yeah, these are three different. They're the same. They're from the same package, but they're different sizes. Different, you know, they're not exactly perfect cuts, and you never really find a perfect cut of meat. But this is why the digital thermometer is important because let's say you're focused on the really thick piece, like right here, and you don't pay attention to this piece right here, and you're not using a scale, you're not going to be able to get the right temperature. So this one's going to be perfect. This one's going to be burnt. This one's going to be kind of in the middle. You know, this one's not burnt. It's just drier than I would like, and that just depends on how much time goes in there. Granted, it's still delicious. I haven't put I haven't put any salt on these yet. Hold on, because I salted them already. I salted them. There's a process to making really good reverse seared food, and and I'm learning just from doing it so much that it doesn't work for every cut of meat. It could depend on the marbling, the fat content. There's a lot of things that come to play when it comes to the perfect reverse seared steak. And yeah, so I just learned what I like. These weren't that fatty cuts of meat. They were a little bit leaner than I would like, but they were the cheapest at the store. By the way, these aren't grass fed. They're grain fed. If anyone's wondering, I'm just for the record, I'm not a carnivore purist. I try to be as pure as I can, and I make sacrifices, you know, as I need. See this piece right here, this piece at the end. If you look at this T-bone steak, this is closer to the T portion of the steak. It's a little redder, closer to the middle, just because this is thicker. So this piece that I just picked up, oh man, it's still got some pink in it. I don't know if I can show you guys. Still got some pink in it. It's not gonna look that pink on the screen because my house is fucking got brown lights. But it's pinker, it's softer, and this is probably gonna be one of my favorite pieces. Next to the second best piece is gonna be the adjacent piece. This right here. If you overcook some food, and luckily this side has some more fattier portions. This fat is just like the fat just rips off. It's barely even on there. Like it's so mm, the extra fat on there is good. I usually don't use actually I do use butter when I make my steaks. I try to get as much fat as possible. This doesn't look like a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Mm. Oh man, but that's so good. You get the fat. That piece had it was soft and fat, and the muscles and in between the muscles there's fat also and tendons and ligaments and other things, and it just creates a very unique flavor, and the salt just brings it all out. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna start eating with my fucking hands too. I'm a savage. We're carnivores. You know. Come on. I mean, anyone on the carnivore diet comes a fucking point where you just start eating with your hands. You know. I mean, I'm not gonna stay like this. I know it's kind of gross, but fuck it, it's delicious. It's just so funny to me personally that there's gonna be a video of me on the internet of just me eating like a glutton. I wonder how many people do carnivore mukbangs. If this is your first one, enjoy it. Mm. And, hold on, let's rock out a little bit. Listen to this. Agua. Water's delicious. Look at that fat. Yep. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, that was from No Copyright Free Music. Uh, I like that song. I play this stupid little soundtrack a lot. But hey, it's good tunes. Honestly, I miss the old days where we could just play whatever the fuck we wanted. Cause I would just play all my favorite music on here and just vibe out. Probably would talk a lot less, but I learned that you have to talk online. You know, people want to see it. I'm still fucking with that one little piece, yes. Now this one, this side is definitely thicker than this side, and that's usually gonna be it. Um, but this one's got some nice fat, some nice little fat strip. It wasn't that fatty on the inside, unfortunately, but that's where the butter comes in. I mean, these T-bones are pretty fatty as is, to be honest with you. But I always err on the. I never get enough fat on the carnivore diet. That's one problem. Um, it's very easy to be satiated uh, when you eat just one food. That's why the simple argument of, oh, you can eat a whole dinner at a restaurant and say you're stuffed, and the second the ice cream comes out, oh, you find room for that. It's all palatability, and the way foods work nowadays. Um, shit, this one's overcooked too. Don't worry, I'm gonna do another one of these with the perfectly cooked uh, T-bones or ribeyes or something eventually. But for right now, I got these less than stellar versions for Fourth of July. I mean, it's still rocking, mind you. I just dipped that shit in butter, and I mean, I'd show you, but it, it's not gonna be impressive right now. That's overcooked for sure. A little pink in there, but okay. A little juicier than the last one, on the thicker side, obviously. Let me eat the small half first. Oh, there's a nice little. Oh, it actually cuts surprisingly easy. Look at this piece. I don't need any butter on this, but I'm gonna add some. Look at that. Look at that nice little fat strip. That fat right there. That right there. That's the magic right there. That's what you need more of on a carnivore diet. Mm. Mm. So as I was saying, I undereat fat way too much. You eat one thing, and I don't track calories anymore. But I just know from the amount that I'm eating, I'm like, I'm not getting enough fat, and I can always tell because I'll start getting sluggish, I'll start getting tired, I'll start getting weak at work. I work a very physically demanding job, so so any little difference, whether I got sleep well the night before, whether I overexerted myself for work the day before, whether I went to the gym in the morning, whether I went and got up in the morning or stretched, and even if I eat red meat versus a lesser meat like pork or chicken the day before, I can feel that shit now. And I think just one, the carnivore diet's kind of more in tune with my body, but two, when you eat one thing, you really start to notice the differences when you shift. And when I notice that, like, I'll have a low fat day here and a low fat day there, and then and after like 2 or 3 low fat days in a row, or in the sequence of a week or 2 weeks, I'll get weak and tired. That shit's real. And I don't know it. Oh man, this piece is pretty juicy actually. This piece makes me excited for that piece. This one, that's thick. I mean, we can compare these. I mean, this is pretty thick too. No, no, that's thick. That's thick all the way through. Oh, that one's a monster. And all this juice. Oh, you see some nasty shit. Hold on. That's fuel right there. That's fuel right there. Like you think I'm playing? This shit is life. Like ever since I started eating like this, I haven't stopped simply because of how different I felt. Like you can go your whole life eat a certain way, but if you try something and it objectively changes the entire fabric of your being, you're gonna do that shit. For sure, you're gonna do that shit. Like now, mind you, I did keto for 2 years. I did keto for this is my third year of dieting hardcore. I did 2 years of keto, pretty dirty keto as is, but keto. I lost 130 pounds. Um, I lost 130 pounds, and it was good. I still had digestion issues. I still suffered constipation. I still had a lot of issues. I was disappointing. The thicker side on this particular piece is tougher than the thinner side. That makes me sad. So yeah, keto wasn't perfect, but it was damn sure better than the standard American diet. And I've been hearing about carnivore. By the way, I've been doing it for about 6 months now. But I heard about it. Let me turn this down. Sorry about that for the prolonged loud music. But I heard about carnivore like about maybe a year and a half, 2 years prior to doing it. And when it first got on my radar, like when I first heard of just eating nothing but meat. No, when I first heard, it was called low no carb, and my first reaction was fuck this shit. Like no carbs or and this is before, mind you, when I heard low carb, that was my reaction initially. Years prior to low carb, I was like low carb used to be under 150 grams of 100 grams of carbs, which we all know now is still a lot. And I was like, fuck that. And this is, mind you, this is like uh, in my early adulthood. I'm talking about when I was 22. My 20, it had to be at least 2010 maybe when my mind. And I was like, 100 grams of carbs, fuck that. And I didn't do it for a long time. We all knew about that shit. We just never listened. And then when I finally tried keto, that was when I finally tried keto, 30 grams of carbs just seemed way too low. But I made it work. And while I was doing keto, I was seeing no carb, sort of like flash, you know, somewhere on the internet, and I just instantly disregarded it. I instantly disregarded it. Like it was like keto, 20, 30 grams of carbs. I'm not going lower than that. You know, we constantly box ourselves in our own situations, our own corners. We find that we find something that works for us, something that we enjoy, and we start building around that. We start building around that, and in our own little ideological boxes. And I did that too. So I heard about carnivore. or zero carb, and I was like, fuck that. And again, keto had great success. But to make a long story short, wait, it's not bad. The butter's melt. The butter's melted on it, sort of formed like a light layer. It's not bad. Let's get some of these other pieces though. So there was a moment in my life when I knew, like, when I knew when I knew keto was working. I when I first started keto, within the first week I had, you know, I used to be a chronic sweater, and I mean like profusely sweating. I might have a few beads here and there, might be sweating a little bit, but I mean like this was nothing. Like I used to chronically sweat like buckets. Hold on, there's a little gristle in there. Mm. It's good. It's just not my favorite. Listen, when you only eat one thing, and mind you, I love steak. I eat steak every day. It is my favorite thing to eat right now. The only reason why I could do the carnivore diet is because I love meat. That's a prerequisite for all of it. I learned how to work with keto because I learned how to make my favorite foods keto. And that's why I was so married to it for so long. So again, back to what I was saying. Mm, these are softer, fattier pieces. Mm, get you some T-bone steak tonight. Yeah, I just broke it apart. Just like nothing. Um, everyone seems to think that raw steak is tough. Raw beef, raw meat is tough. I gotta say, the more raw my steak, the softer it is, for sure. Depends on the cut, though, obviously. But I mean, for those who aren't in the know, certain cuts of meat have more muscle on them. They're more used. Like for example, ribs and ribeyes are so delicious and soft is because rib muscles aren't really used that much. I mean, they're used, but they're more just for structure. They're more just to sort of cushion the organs. They're not doing any sort of major movements. This is why there's the tougher parts would be like the eye of round and all those. A lot of those come from the leg, and legs get used a lot more, so they're going to be a lot tougher. Even if even if they're raw, cooked is even worse. But the softer meats, the softer um, cuts of meat, oh man, they melt in your mouth. This is why animals go after the organ meats. The organ meats, they go for the guts because they're the softest things, the most uh, nutrient dense parts of the animal, nutrient dense parts of anything in nature. Honestly, mm, that right there. Um, my favorite thing to do is to go to a restaurant and eat like this. Honestly, it brings me great joy to go out and look like I'm having fucking sex with my food. Mm. That's the only way to promote it. You gotta be able to show that you enjoy it. I do. Oh man. This ain't gonna be pretty. Hope you guys know that by now. Mm. Here we go. My favorite piece. You know that piece of meat that you know is gonna be good before you even taste it? Let me move this shit out the way. That's what this is. Oh, I dropped it. Hold on. That's what this is. This is the piece that I know is gonna be good before I even taste it. I can see a few problem areas, just a few. I should promote this. Promote it. Look at these greasy ass hands. Well, can I promote LaCroix? Is that it? Oh, let me butter that. Oh yeah, a nice big old piece of butter on there. I eat like a savage, you know. Eat savagely. That's gonna be my catchphrase from now on. Hey, I'm Aaron, the big black dude. Eat savagely, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I thought I was gonna have a more amusing conversation, uh, but I'm not. I didn't want to. I didn't want to just stick to the carnivore diet or anything of importance really, but I don't talk about it enough, and I do have a wealth of knowledge on it from my own self experimentation that I can give a good opinion on it. Mm. Here, watch this shit. Listen to this. Why eat some of that? Still rocking though. Still good. Is that over? Oh, ah, I did have sun for my hands. I just wanted to see how long I can go without using it. Mm. Let's find some more free music. There's no way I finished that whole thing. Um, I guess so. This one is no copyright music. Best of Chill Step 2015 year mix. It's no copyright, right? Oh, there's actually lyrics on this shit. Oh god, I hate when they do that. So that's when you just gotta skip forward. And this one's by Hero Board. Just look up Hero Board. They make slightly gayer songs than the other guys. Like I said, I've seen some problem pieces. This one's better. It's definitely still soft. Oh, this is garbage. This song, you're running my eating now. I mean, You guys are about to see 3 pounds of meat get finished. I could have ate this faster if I wasn't talking. It would have been more. I mean, when I first uh when I first put my fork down and started eating with my hands, that would have been the last. If I was alone, that would have been the last time a fork and knife entered my hands. But for the sake of civility and not looking like a complete total savage, uh, I'm gonna eat this with a fork and a knife. I would just eat this shit with my hands. I really don't care. I prefer it. It feels good. Eat with your hands. Mm. All right. I thought that was gonna be a tough piece. Mm. That's good. And for my final piece, I'm gonna throw a little salt on it, just because. You know, finish with butter. Yeah, mukbangs are fun. Again, I usually don't eat 3 pounds of uh of meat in one sitting. I mean, this is probably closer to 2.5. No, these are small bones. It's probably closer to 2.8 pounds, maybe 2.7 pounds of meat, which is fine. You know, that's still a respectable amount of meat. But I usually eat less, uh, but more frequently throughout the day. This is going to be my only time I'm eating today, uh, which is still delicious, you know. But 3 pounds of meat seems like a lot to people who don't eat meat all the time. It's really not. It's really not. Mhm. Got some gristle in there. I could have ate it, and I probably will once I turn the camera off. But sometimes it can be a little laborious um, chewing. Oh, you got a big chunk of meat in your mouth. No homo. And honestly, oh, oh, the smaller size tender again. I wonder why. I don't. Disclaimer: I don't cook or eat T-bones nearly as much as I should. Cause I eat ribeyes. Ribeye steaks are expensive as fuck, but delicious. So I tend to get ribeye, so I don't cook T-bones that much, and this is why this one wasn't as good. Whenever I eat, I mean, I only eat one thing, maybe make some eggs here and there, uh, but I eat eggs, cheese, meat. That's it, and maybe some heavy cream in my coffee from time to time. That's it. Oh man. And if anyone's wondering if I'm full right now, yes. Well, I wouldn't say full. You know, anyone who it's a little hot in here. I don't have the fan on or anything like that. But anyone who does a low carb, I mean, low carb diets, you can still feel full, but you know the difference between full and bloated. Like with keto, I was full, but I was bloated a lot. Hmm. But since carnivore diet doesn't really give you much bloat, you know, assuming that your digestive system is tuned to digest all the meat that you're going to be eating. But when you start doing a carnivore diet for a long time, um, full is very relative. Like you ever fall in love with a chick, and then all of a sudden you just aren't in love with her anymore out of nowhere. That's what it feels like. Like you'll be eating your meal, and you'll be starving, waiting for it all day. And you're starving, and you'll get to a point you're just scrounging down, and then you just go, I'm done, and you just get up and walk away. Mm, that's a juicy piece. But that's why it's hard to like eat a lot on carnivore because you can just easily stop eating. It's very different. It's a very wild feeling to be satisfied. So I don't do it all the time. I'm doing it today because it's a holiday, and I plan on fasting for maybe a day or so afterwards. But you have to sometimes force yourself to eat. If you're skinny, I do this because I'm fat. Nigga, the second I lose weight, I'm not eating carnivore. I'm I'm joking. I'm technically, I swear to God, I'm still eating carnivore. This is the only way I'm gonna eat most of the time. But if you don't think next Fourth of July is, mukbangs not gonna have fucking cheeseburgers and hot dogs and you know wine and Slurpees and donuts. Oh, it's going to. I'm not, as much as I want to be healthy, I'm not dogmatic about my eating. The only reason why I eat carnivore, one, because I feel great. I'm gonna, man, for the rest of my life now. I can promise you, I'm gonna be carnivore 95% of the time. Sometimes, depending on the year, depending on the day, so depending on my weight, it'll be 99%. But once I lose all my weight, um, I'm definitely going to eat shit every once in a while because carbohydrates, I do believe, have a place in the human diet under certain conditions. You know, under certain conditions for sure, carbohydrates have a place. What that place is, who knows? Oh, look at these pieces. This is good. You see, now you just rip that in half like Mortal Kombat. I mean, can you see the pinkness in there? Is it getting it the light? A little overcooked, but honestly, it's ripped apart. I could rip this apart, a long time ago. Who needs hands? I mean, who needs fork and a knife? This part's still kind of bloody, but I am getting full. Here, let me ask you a question, YouTube. During traditional mukbangs that you sick fucks watch, um, do the people always finish all their food? I want to know if they have to finish this. If I send them to do a mukbang, if I stop now, would I have failed the mukbang? I don't know mukbang rules, but oh, this is just not well. We have a problem here, ladies and gentlemen. I just made the worst piece. These pieces of meat right here. It's the dreaded pink inside, yet tough inside, which means it was both overcooked and undercooked. I don't know how to explain that, but it got to the point of it got to the point of heat where it sort of sealed the muscles. Because if it was still raw on the inside, it would be soft to chew on. But the inside is just as chewy as the outside, which means it's cooked all the way through, but there's still slight amounts of blood in it that gives it hope. You see that? It gives you hope that it's a fresh piece, but you want to make sure when you eat a steak, it's as red as possible in the middle. And when the muscle fibers start breaking against the grain, you see that little tear right there? When the muscle fibers start doing that, that's when you know it's fully cooked. That's breakage. That's because the muscle is dead now. I mean dead. So I might have ruined this piece because I don't want to. Mind you, there's still some good parts of this, just not those particular pieces. Mm. So my suggestion to everybody would be, if you watch this, and you're interested in trying a carnivore diet, I say try it. It's fun as fuck. Eat butter and steak and salt all day. I really like it. But learn to cook your meat because there are pieces here that I just refuse to eat because it's not to my liking. I became a food snob because of this carnivore diet. Oh man, just look at that whole chunk that I can't eat. This is a lot of. This is a big piece, but I can't eat it because I overcooked it. I don't know how, but I don't cook T-bone steaks that much. But this inside piece right in there, right in the underarm part, this is the underarm, by the way. Right in the underarm, mm, rocking. I wish the stray cats would come out so I could feed them this damn this pink bullshit. Oh man. Oh well, give it a shot. It's not that bad. It's awesome. I feel like I'm on rocket fuel all the time. There goes my mukbang. Oh, and I got this. Here's that gristle part I was talking about that I put away. That I spit out. And this, mind you, this is not blood. When animals are slaughtered, they get all the blood taken out, drained out of them. But what they do have inside their muscle fibers is globin, some shit, some globin shit. Um, and when you cook it as brown, there's also fat in here, collagen, minerals. Well, cheers. Oh man, listen, all y'all carnivore fucks do the same thing. Y'all just been pussy enough to not show it. Yep, I just did that. I got it on my shirt. This is a carnivore diet, people. This is how it looks. It ain't pretty, but it's fucking delicious. All right, I'm gonna scavenger the rest of the meat off here, YouTube. And if you like this, hit the subscribe button. I was hoping I wore a white shirt specifically to get more shit on it, so it could just be as gross as possible. Because you freaks like that shit, right? You like all the gross shit. But I just got shit on at the end. Oh well, my laptop is all wet, showing you guys this shit. So I'm gonna finish eating this. Uh, so you motherfuckers don't get to see me do that. But if you enjoy, like and subscribe. In comment and or tell me how disgusted you were. Or how much meat I wasted, or if you're trying to diet, or if you want to diet. You know, I've been doing this shit for a long time. And, see you guys. Enjoy that shit.